Lately, I've been in this creative block and I tried everything to get my creative juices flowing, but nothing was happening except time was passing me by. So it led me on this journey to think about what happens to your brain during a creative block. So I had my mindset on figuring this thing out. So I kept researching until I found answers. The first being stress shuts down creativity. Our brain's fear center is activated in this place called the amygdala. This is where stress hangs out. So how do we combat that? Usually when we're overwhelmed by stress, that usually means that we are operating in survival mode. And that means there's no room for creativity. And we can't have that. So working out, taking a deep breath, meditating, those are the things that can help you recenter and get out of stress mode. What I enjoy so far is the intentionality behind fighting the creative block, not necessarily waiting it through, but fighting through it. One of the things that I had read that the Bible talked about was like worrying so much and worrying about tomorrow and how like it doesn't add anything to your life. You see how it actually like affects your brain and how your brain is not able to function fully when you are stressed. Shout out to God because he knew that was like the perfect grounds for me taking a deep breath. And it felt like I was exhaling all the stuff that I probably just needed to release. And then also like working out. My mind wasn't on anything but girl, you got to get through these reps and it hurt, you know? So I already feel a lift happening and some creativity is starting to flow through. Next up, dopamine levels drop. Feeling unmotivated is the worst, especially when you have a project that you need to get done. And in this space, it's easy for us to be distracted because we're kind of looking for those distractions. We have to take steps away from being distracted and also celebrate the small wins. Shout out to my subscribers and subscribe to my channel. Creativity thrives on dopamine. And when your dopamine levels are low, a lot of times it reduces your motivation within the creative process. I think I put so much pressure on myself and looking at, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next goal? What's the next project that I did not take time to really just take a deep breath and celebrate the small wins. I think you have to learn how to romanticize your creative process, even the parts that you don't like or that you feel sucks and you're just trying to rush through it. It's like, no, don't rush through it. Take a second, romanticize it, team it with something that you really enjoy. Before you know it, your dopamine levels are there and they're consistently there. And I think that's something that we have to fight for, especially as creatives, because once we get unmotivated, projects don't get done. Art does not get put out. Next up, disconnection from the flow state. Have y'all ever been in a zone, the creativity's flowing, and then you get a text message, and then the text message is something like this? And just like that, the flow is disrupted. There was this book that I read a while ago called Deep Work, and it talked about turning off distractions and just literally focusing in. Whatever time that you're able to dedicate to this, to your craft, to whatever creative project you're doing, commit to that deep work. Set a time for yourself to completely like dive into the thing. That's something that I've learned. I'm seeing a difference in my flow creatively. And last but not least, lack of neuroplasticity. Now, what the heck is that? This happens when we feel stuck in patterns. Creativity relies on the brain's ability to form new neurons. So we have to learn something new sometimes. Take up a hobby or do something that you haven't done in a long time. For me, I have not skated in a while, and so we hit the skates. Also, just doing something physical helps with this. This creative block has taken me on a whole journey. We're skating. I have not skated in years. I'm so glad that this creative block happened to me because it ultimately has led me down this journey to explore myself even more as a person. And I was forcing my creativity to come because I'm like, girl, you gotta be consistent. I added pressure to myself because I'm like, I cannot let myself down this time. I've been a quitter. I've been all those things. Instead of me forcing content that wasn't there, I'm like, let me just continue being 100 with y'all, be authentic, and just express what I'm going through. And that is creative block. So hopefully this resonates with y'all. And overall, I 100% recommend doing this because as we speak, my creative juices are flowing again. If you guys are going through creative block, I just want to say I empathize with you, and you can beat this. Just take a second away. We cannot just keep producing. Sometimes you gotta sit with yourself and you got to just take a second. Thank you so much for watching. It's Ashley Rail. It's been real. Bye.